Raj is nervously sitting at the doctor's office. The doctor looks at the report.
Raj, the results are in. Unfortunately, you have diabetes.
Doctor, diabetes, but I don't even eat that much sweets.
Raj, diabetes isn't only about eating sweets. It's about how your body handles sugar. Fatty foods play a big role too.
Fatty foods? How?
Let me explain. Eating a lot of fatty foods, especially unhealthy fats, can cause weight gain. The extra fat, especially around your belly, makes your cells less responsive to insulin.
Insulin? What does that do?
Insulin is a hormone that helps sugar from the food you eat get into your cells to be used as energy. When your body becomes resistant to insulin, sugar stays in your bloodstream, leading to diabetes.
So fatty foods are like a slow poison?
You could say that. But not all fats are bad. Healthy fats, like those from nuts and olive oil, are fine in moderation. The key is to eat balanced meal and avoid overeating fried and processed food.
Got it, doctor. I'll change my diet and take care of myself.
That's the spirit, Raj. Remember, diabetes is manageable with the right lifestyle.
Raj tells his friend about his diagnosis. A group of people nearby overhears and starts chiming in.
Guys, the doctor says I have diabetes.
Are you right? You're finished. No more gulab jamuns for you.
My uncle had diabetes too. He now stopped eating rice. He only eats lettuce.
Diabetes? It's because always on these modern gadgets, always on the phone, no physical activity.
True. Back on our days, we didn't even know what diabetes was.
What are fatty acids? Fatty acids are a type of lipid that plays a crucial role in various biological processes. They are the building blocks of fats and are important for the structure and function of cells, energy storage, and metabolic regulation. Fatty acids are long chains of carbon atoms between 4 to 24 carbon atoms long bonded with hydrogen atoms with a carboxyl group attached to a hydrocarbon chain R group. This carboxyl group makes fatty acids acidic in nature. There are three types of fatty acids. Firstly, the saturated fatty acid has no double bonds between the carbon atoms. Mostly all carbon atoms are fully saturated with hydrogen atoms. This fatty acid is solid at room temperature. Example of this fatty acid is butter and lard. Saturated fatty acid contributes to insulin resistance, inflammation, and increase the risk of heart disease and type 2 diabetes. Secondly, the unsaturated fatty acid have one or more double bonds between the carbon atoms. This type of fatty acid is liquid at room temperature such as olive oil and canola oil. Unsaturated fatty acids have strong anti-inflammatory properties and are beneficial for heart and brain health. Another type of fatty acid is trans fatty acid. This fatty acid is artificially created through the process of hydrogenation, where hydrogen is added to unsaturated fats, turning them into solid fats. Trans fatty acids are harmful to health and it is commonly found in many processed foods. These fatty acids raise bad cholesterol LDL and lower good cholesterol HDL.
Next, I will explain about how fatty acids trigger diabetes. Firstly, let's talk about insulin resistance, a hallmark of type 2 diabetes. Normally, insulin acts as a key allowing glucose to enter cells for energy. But when FFAs are elevated, they interfere with this process in two main ways, which is block GLUT4 transporters and reducing insulin receptor efficiency. In blocking GLUT4 transporters, FFAs prevent the proper functioning of GLUT4 transporters, which are responsible for moving glucose into cells. In reducing insulin receptor efficiency, FFAs impair the ability of insulin receptors to send signal, further reducing glucose uptake by cells. This means that even though insulin levels might be high, glucose remain in bloodstream, causing hyperglycemia or elevated blood sugar levels. Over time, This persistent insulin resistance sets the stage for full-blown diabetes. Next, in liver dysfunction, the liver is critical for maintaining blood sugar balance, but fatty acids disrupt its function significantly in diabetes. Insulin suppresses glucose production by the liver in a healthy state. However, with insulin resistance, the liver fails to respond to insulin properly and behaves as though blood sugar levels are low. It produces excess glucose through a process called gluconeogenesis, further increasing blood sugar levels. Any excess glucose that the liver cannot handle is converted into fatty acids. These fatty acids accumulate in the liver, leading to non-alcoholic fatty liver disease (NAFLD). So this build-up worsens insulin resistance in the liver, creating a vicious cycle that disrupts glucose metabolism even further.
Next, I'll be talking about the pancreatic beta cell damage. The pancreas plays a central role in diabetes by producing insulin. However, fatty acids are toxic to the pancreas, particularly its insulin-producing beta cells. Two mechanisms are involved here. First, lipotoxicity. Elevated fatty acids produce harmful metabolites like ceramides which damage beta cells and impair their ability to produce insulin. Second, oxidative stress. Fatty acid generates reactive oxygen species, which is the ROS, causing inflammation and cell death in beta cells. Over time, this damage reduces insulin secretion, leading to insulin deficiency. When both insulin resistance and insulin deficiency occur simultaneously, blood sugar control becomes nearly impossible, leading to severe diabetes progression. Second, inflammatory pathways. Fatty acids also drive chronic inflammation, which is a key contributor to diabetes. FFAs activate specific receptors in the body such as toll-like receptor 4, which is TLR4, triggering the release of inflammatory molecules like TNF-alpha and IL-6. These inflammatory molecules have a dual effect. First, they directly impair insulin signaling in tissues like muscle, liver, and fat. Second, they promote low-grade chronic inflammation throughout the body, which further disrupts glucose metabolism. This inflammation is not just localized, it affects multiple tissues, amplifying the impact of insulin resistance and accelerating diabetes complications. Lastly would be the lipid dysregulation. Diabetes also disrupts the body's lipid metabolism, creating further challenges. The liver produces more LDL cholesterol, which is the bad cholesterol, and less HDL cholesterol, which is the good cholesterol. This imbalance increases the risk of cardiovascular complications, which are a major cause of morbidity and mortality in diabetic patients. Additionally, excess lipids in the bloodstream can deposit in skeletal muscles, liver, and other tissues, further impairing their ability to respond to insulin. This cycle of lipid accumulation and glucose dysregulation drives the metabolic complication of diabetes.
According to the National Diabetes Registry Report 2020 under Ministry of Health Malaysia, most of the registered patients in NDR were diagnosed with diabetes between the age of 50 to 54 years old, followed by 55 to 59 years and 45 to 49 years age group